I've never seen this kind of fear where people feel they need to flee from the United States, a country that was based on welcoming immigrants.
Janet McFrigid is a social worker who lives just north of Plattsburgh in the town of Champlain. She works directly with refugees and says that she has never seen so many people trying to cross over the border as she has in the recent past.
Have you seen an increase, like personally working with them?
It's a very interesting situation. Living on the border, of course, we're used to refugees, we're used to immigrants, but what we've seen since the election has been, I'm sensing a more of a fear that they're going to be deported to an area that's unsafe. And so they're taking the risk to cross the border to go into Canada in hopes of getting asylum status there. So as far as what I've seen personally, it's primarily been an increase in taxi cabs.
For many refugees, the journey of crossing over the border begins at Plattsburgh. Asylum seekers often take cabs to travel to Roxham Road in Champlain and just walk over the border. How many people have you dropped off at the border today?
There was only 3 so far.
Rob has been driving taxi cabs in Plattsburgh for 4 years.
Why do you think there has been like this increase in the number of refugees that are trying to cross the border?
Well, now that I've got no idea other than they're looking for a better life or away from danger.
In a quarter mile, arrive at Roxham Road.
I took the trip to Roxham myself. A narrow, unassuming lane greeting visitors with a dead-end sign. At the end of the road, a narrow stream separates the two nations. An officer of the Canadian Border Patrol says that Roxham has become a hotspot for refugees to try and cross over. It is thus a highly patrolled area.
I can't give you numbers. I can tell you we're busy. So this is one of the main spots.
Most of the 4,000-mile border that the US shares with Canada is wide open and unsecured. Roxham residents say that the road was no different. But since the elections, it has become a busy exit.
Goes up every day, 5, 6 of them every day.
See them all the time coming down with the taxi left and right. People get dropped off. And they walk the road up to the border at the end of the road.
They go by during the day, nighttime. This morning, I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning, they were running.
Kristen Brown lives in a house on the border.
Lived on the border for almost 10 years. And in the first 9.5 years, we saw a taxi once, maybe twice in all of our time living on the border. Since January, mid to late January, it's been about 3 a week, or 3 a day. It's actually increased from 3 a week to 3 a day. And that's just going on my part of the road.
She feels asylum seekers think they will be safer in Canada.
Why do you think suddenly there has been such a huge increase in people who want to?
People are scared. People are worried that they are going to be either deported or persecuted or mistreated for their skin tone or ethnic origin or their religion.
Many in the community want to help refugees. McFetridge, the Champlain social worker, is trying to decrease panic among asylum seekers.
We're looking into maybe linking them up with legal help if they need it, clothing, other kinds of assistance, just see what they may need.
But she says that refugees crossing the border is a byproduct of a larger problem.
I think our immigration needs a huge overhaul. I think some of these people who are documented right now and their visas are going to run out, the system seems somewhat broken in that it's hard to get your visa renewal.
The new government continues to implement their policies and the problem seems to persist. As the weather grows warmer, the number of asylum seekers crossing the border are expected to rise, and the end of Roxham Road, marked by a road closed sign, continues to be a beginning for many seeking a safe place. Aishwarya Nagchaudhary, NCC News.